Foal heat diarrhea, supposed to be normal, supposed to be caused by the mare's milk. But even a normal case of foal developmental diarrhea can turn life-threatening very quickly, especially if you believe this one dangerous myth. People say, oh, it's the mare's milk. It's her coming back into season. It's just hormones. That belief breeds complacency, and it almost cost my colt its life. I'm a scientist and I'm a breeder, and I'm incredibly passionate about horse welfare. Today we are busting the mare's milk theory behind foal heat diarrhea. Not just to be right, but because knowing the truth helps us see the red flags. The red flags I'm about to show you are the only reason that my foal did not become critically ill. Here is the truth about foal heat diarrhea and exactly when you should be calling your vet. I am not a veterinarian, so if your animal is showing symptoms of illness, you need to contact a vet immediately. So you have a beautiful foal and all of a sudden, 1 week in, it gets diarrhea. Take a deep breath, don't panic. I know this looks dramatic, but it can be very normal, and my little colt just went through that this week. Most of the time, foal heat diarrhea is perfectly normal. It's a developmental stage in the development of the gastrointestinal tract and has absolutely nothing, myth busted, to do with the mare's estrus cycle or changes in hormones in the milk or any of that. It has been scientifically shown not to be the case. Okay, so let's get the big myth out of the way. Quick and painful. For decades, horse breeders have been blaming the mare's estrus cycle, so whether or not she comes back into season, with the development of the foal's diarrhea. This is simply because of the timing overlap. The mare generally comes back into season around a week after having her foal, and the foal then gets diarrhea at around about the same time. So it's the perfect case of correlation is not causation. And studies have shown scientifically that the mare's milk does not change during this period, and even orphan foals who do not have access to a mare, who are fed a stable human provided formula, get foal heat at around the same time. So we know that it is not because of changes in the mare's milk. Here's a link to the studies that I've looked at which show that the mare's milk doesn't change, that it has absolutely nothing to do with the mare's cycle, and that it happens in foals that don't have access to a mare and simply cannot be experiencing changes in hormones of the milk. Okay, so now we know 80% of foals get diarrhea 7 to 15 days after foaling. Okay, so you wake up in the morning, your foal's got diarrhea. How do we know as horse owners when to call the vet, what's normal and what isn't? Fortunately, it's very simple here. So what is normal is your foal starting between 7 and 14 days. The manure is soft, can sometimes be messy, can mess up their little bums. The foal is always bright and energetic. They are nursing. They have no fever. They do not have colic symptoms, so they don't look uncomfortable. Their bellies don't look swollen. They are not dehydrated, and it usually resolves within 2 to 4 days. Okay, this is normal foal heat. Big one, foal heat diarrhea does not have a fever. It's not associated with any systemic issues. Now, what is not normal is if the diarrhea is in a foal that is younger than 5 days. If it has a fever, if it's dull, sleepy, weak to suckle, not suckling, is it sweating, is there blood in the manure, does it have signs of colic, is it dehydration, does it have like pale gums or purple gums, does it have sunken eyes, and does the diarrhea last more than 4 days? This is vet required. Red flag, red flag, red flag. This is not normal. call your vet immediately if you have any of these issues in your young foal, because these things can develop really quickly and potentially be life-threatening. Okay, so foal heat diarrhea, normal. We'll go into what causes it in a minute. What causes abnormal or non-foal heat diarrhea is usually an infection, and generally this is a pathway that can lead to sepsis and other things depending on what it is. But generally, if your foal has a fever and diarrhea, it's at risk of dehydration, sepsis, and potentially life-threatening complications. Okay, so normal foal heat, what actually causes it? So if it's not the mare and changes in the mare causing this disruption to the gastrointestinal tract, what is it? So inside your foal's digestive system, there is a massive microbial change going on. So your foal is born with relatively bland microbial diversity, and that needs to come from external sources. So the gut is being colonized with bacteria at this young age. So your foal is born with no to very few bacterial colonizations in its stomach tract, and as it explores its environment, eating, it's drinking, things are moving through its system, the process of microbial colonization is occurring, which changes the pH, changes the environment, changes everything, and you get this response from the body, which is we need to poo this out. So it is just the body going through the normal process of colonization. Other things that can be contributing to it is lactose fermentation is ramping up because milk production is increasing. So foals can consume around 30% of their body weight a day at this point in time. The foal is also going through huge mobility changes. As we all know, they go from being these cute, sweet little stumbly things to devils tearing around the paddock, crazy little mites going everywhere, and you're thinking, oh, how did they learn to buck so soon? And this is the big one. This is a really big one, guys. Foals eat mum's poo. So coprophagy. This is foals eating mum's poo. This is perfectly normal. All foals do it. It is an instinct that they are inherently born with to eat their poo. And the reason is that they are gaining the microbes they need from their mum's poo to colonize their gastrointestinal tract so that they can eat grass, because they're born with essentially no microbes. They then get microbes from their environment, but they need to get those fiber degrading microbes to help them process grass later down the track as they transition from milk to a grass diet. So mum's poo is the best place to get these microbes, and it might look disgusting, but it is incredibly beneficial and incredibly necessary for normal development of the foal's GI microbiome. Die hard, it's the mare's milk people out there. I'm here to tell you that, sorry guys, I've read the studies, I've read the papers. Now scientists have been trying for 50 years to find changes in the mare's milk, but they simply can't. So one review literally says attempts to find a causative agent have been unsuccessful. So we know from the extensive scientific investigations trying to find a cause for foal heat in the mare's milk, we know that there are no changes to the milk. No changes in lactose, no changes in protein composition, no change in hormones, no change in electrolytes, or really anything other measurable. So we then go back. Myth busted, it is not the mare's milk. Okay, so the best evidence that we have for foal heat diarrhea having nothing to do with the mare's estrus is the orphan foal paradigm. So orphan foals are having completely different feed schedules. They're drinking formula. They have no access to mares. They clearly have no dynamic milk shifts going on because it's a formula-based diet. They are drinking generally cooler milk, and they're drinking on human-based schedules, which is a higher volume, less frequently, which is in contrast to foals in natural systems where they are drinking frequently, body temperature, or close to milk. Okay, so with all these changes, we're still seeing the same thing happening in the GI tract, and we're still seeing the same association with the foal heat diarrhea. So what does this mean? It means that it's not hormones. Hormones are not contributing to foal heat diarrhea. Has nothing to do with heat. So what are the similarities between these two groups? So the foals naturally start eating poops. They naturally start playing with buckets and becoming very curious and ingesting all the different bacteria that horses find in their environment. And when they do this, the bacteria then colonize their gastrointestinal tract and start making changes to the gastrointestinal tract and the conditions within it, and that is what is contributing to the shift and the foal heat diarrhea. Okay, so let's look at this with the case study of my little foal Tiaru. So he was about 8 days old when he started getting his foal heat diarrhea. So he had diarrhea for 2 to 3 days. And he was eating, he was drinking, he was absolutely normal, lovely. I've got so many videos, you can go and have a look at all his lovely videos. And then we did have a bit of a complication that was not normal. So today has been a huge relief. I've been having a massive panic attack because yesterday we came out and found that our little foal Diarrhea had a retained poop in his bum that had dried out and got stuck. Obviously that is technically a compaction, so we thought, oh my god, he has got colic, which he didn't. He just had his foal diarrhea, which is called the foal heat. Anyway, so we had the vet come out and give him a bit of an enema to remove it, and then straight away he did another poo and it got stuck in his rectum, and it was like sticking out like this far, stuck. And the vet was like, just give it time and see how it goes, like it should be self-limiting, which it is. So Diarrhea has no poo stuck in his bum. Congratulations, little man. Do you want a bum scratch for congratulations? No, he's like, don't touch my bum. I've had enough of that, thank you. Normally he's like, yes, scratch me, love me. Myths give us a false sense of security, especially in this case, because people say, oh, my foal has the scours. It is just the mare's heat cycle coming back after birth. If I had believed that myth, I would have put my foal in danger, simply because I would have been looking at the mare. I would have had a false sense of security. I would have been complacent. So knowing the facts, the scientific facts about what causes these things and not believing in myths actually puts us in a better position to care for our animals.